So I'm walking my dog with the dogs this morning, and I can't but help notice how much natural mulch there is on the ground. And I've noticed at home that there is like a first fall that always happens with the willow tree in the front garden. It loses a whole set of leaves at about this time of year. It's like got hot and drops a load of leaves. And the leaves, like in here, create a natural mulch. Now what do we do when the leaves fall from the trees in the gardens? We sweep them all up. But actually what they're trying to do is create a mulch, a thick layer or a layer on the soil to try and preserve the moisture for when it does rain. So the hotter and hotter it gets and less rain there is, more and more leaves fall naturally, because the plant itself, the tree itself is getting dry, but it's throwing leaves down, preserving the moisture that is in the soil, stopping the heat of the sun from drying up the soil too much. But also what I see here is the natural mulch of all the bluebells. So this was absolutely covered full of bluebells. And when you looked, I've just walked away from it all now. Oh, here you go. So when you look down, you see the old bluebells. So they just collapse, they have their beauty, and then they collapse down, and their leaves create a mulch to keep the soil nice and moist. So I'm wondering what lessons I can take from here, from nature, and take back to my garden, my veggie garden, which is absolutely craving water every single day at the moment. I'm wondering whether growing something in the beds that is a ground cover, and it may well like the bluebells. It can be something pretty, something that just covers the beds and is absolutely beautiful, and then you could just part it aside and make a hole and plant your plant inside in that hole, and then those plants that have been the ground cover and given you all that beauty will then die back with the heat and create a cover for retaining the water, which means I don't have to worry so much about mulching, and I don't have to worry so much about watering. Now, the only problem in my garden at the moment is that I'm still learning about where best to plant things. So the way I planted it last year is different from the way I'm planting it this year. And even this year I'm thinking, oh, do you know what? I'm still not being as efficient as I could be. I really could do with longer beds rather than the square beds. So, but I was using what was at hand initially, but now I'm thinking maybe I might actually build some proper beds rather than use what I've got, because it's working. I'm learning so much, and now I just want to make it more and more, basically. Anyway, so then I could get a real feel for, okay, this year I'm going to plant this year I'm going to plant this, and it'll always go where it was the year before. Now I know that kind of gets rid of the whole rotational thing, but I mean, maybe there can be a level of rotation. Maybe I just need to put certain plants that will take up the same amount of space. So maybe like single roots that take a that make fruits, basically. Like your tomatoes, your peppers, your cucumbers, your melons, your squash, your courgettes. They're all a single root plant. You put the plant into the earth, and then it grows, and it gives you loads and loads of fruit from that one plant. Whereas other crops that I have, like carrots, beetroot, garlic, leeks, spring onions, they're all water. I almost forgot. They all need a lot of space. So I'm just going to pause you for a second because I need to water these dogs. So yeah, those multiple roots for multiple harvest, those need a lot more space. Now the radish, they come up and they go down pretty quickly. I could plant them all round for ground cover, and then as I harvest them, I could just tear off their leaves and drop their leaves on the surface. That might work. I mean, at the moment we eat their leaves, but if I plant far more radish, then I'm not going to want to eat all of those leaves. Probably won't want to eat all of those radish either. Right, they finished. Have you had all the water you want, guys? Do you want any more? So yeah, that could work. I could do the radish in some of the areas. But then I'm thinking, actually, if I was to have a whole bed of bluebells and snowdrops, that would be just amazing. Getting quite excited about next year's garden now.